Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's blue. The lighting doesn't really show up very well, but it is bright blue. I'll have to share a picture with you guys when this is all said and done. But my husband said, man, the walls look kind of boring. I'm like, great, let me pull out the paint samples that I've been holding on to for years. So here we are. Happy Monday. We are going to be talking for the next 3 weeks. Sorry, I have a hair. There it is in my face. For the next 3 weeks, we are going to be talking about some time-saving tips when it comes to your social media. And I thought it would be a great thing to start off. Hey, Michelle. Great thing to start off because I asked you guys on Saturday, do you prefer stories or newsfeed, posting in the timeline? And an overwhelming majority of you guys said you prefer stories. So I wanted to share some quick little tips. This one's going to be short tonight, but I want to share some tips with you guys as far as how to reuse your stories, some apps that I use, so that once you have come up with your brand pillars, once you have kind of the foundation for here are the things that I want to continue to put in my stories, you can organize them, because I'm going to give you organizational tips too. You can organize them and repurpose them and reuse them over and over, which makes it so much easier. Thanks, Amanda. So funny story, Amanda asked me what color I was painting, and I sent her a picture of the paint swap. That's funny. When I move my hat, it shows you more of the blue. And then Facebook knows, guys. Facebook knows what you're talking about. And it started showing her ads for painting. So there we go. But as you guys are popping out, I'd love to know that you are here. Say hello. Hey, Mary. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Kathy. And there's somebody else who's on, but I can't see it. And you have not given StreamYard permission. So I'm sorry. It just says hi, Facebook user. So I would say hi, but I don't know who you are. All right. So let me first share with you guys. Just a reminder, there is a video in here already about kind of the purpose of stories and quick tips on how to create a story. So I'm not going to share too much on that. You can go back into Unit 1. Everything that we do is in Unit 1 as far as the weekly Monday Night Live. So you can go back there and watch that. Hey, Rhonda. But I'm not going to give you a lot of tips and tricks on the actual setting up of the stories. But what I will do is share with you some of my favorite apps and then what I do to make it really simple to repurpose. So first things first, someone's saying I'm here too. I'll have to pull it up on my phone, but I can't see your name because it just says Facebook user. I believe there's a link that I have posted in the group. If you go to that link, it's like StreamYard/Facebook or Facebook/StreamYard, and then I can see your name. So anyways, all right, so let me share with you guys some of my favorite apps when it comes to creating stories. And if you have some favorites, I would love to hear what your favorites are too, because you kind of get stuck in a routine of, well, I just use this one because it's what I use, right? But it's always fun to see what other people are using and loving. So if you have some favorite apps, please share them in the comments below. But one thing that I am a big fan of is Story Swag. If you guys have been in, the online space, Word Swag kind of made an appearance, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And for a while, it had that like speckled confetti looking font that everybody was using. I think it was a little bit overused. Hey, Erica, good to see you. But Story Swag is made by Word Swag. So it is an app and it is specifically made for stories, but you can also use it and make squares. So it asks you, do you want to make a story, like the rectangular story size, or do you want to make a square? And then what you'll do is you will add in a picture, and just like Word Swag, it will ask you to type in words on top, but it will animate the words. So the one benefit there, my hand's crooked. The one benefit there with the Word Swag is, Word Swag is static. So you have a picture with words. But if you know what Word Swag is, think Story Swag is the same way. You're going to have a picture with words, but the Story Swag will animate the words. So for instance, I did something several months ago, and again, I repurpose it, but I did something several months ago, and I talked about the problem that somebody might have. I know that I've told you guys about, I have a sleep product, right? So I use that one often in examples. The problem that someone might have when they can't sleep is that they feel groggy in the morning. They lie in bed, I don't know the correct one, sorry, grammar police, but they're in bed and they cannot fall asleep. They can't shut their brain down, right? They wake up in the middle of the night and they can't go back to sleep. So I did a Story Swag, where I grabbed a graphic from unsplash.com, UNSPLASH, unsplash.com. You can also go to Pixabay. It's free stock photos, okay? And I grabbed some pictures of someone like really sleepy and tired and, you could tell that they looked mopey and sad and tired. And so I threw those pictures, those free stock photos, into Story Swag, and then I did animated text. And so one of them said something about like, do you feel like, a train has hit you when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel not refreshed or something like that? And then the next one said, do you have a hard time falling asleep at night? And then, or shutting your brain off at night? And then the next one said, do you, often wake up in the middle of the night and then you have a hard time getting back to sleep? So what I'm doing here is I'm agitating the problem. I'm not saying here's the benefits, here it has this and has this and has this and it's awesome, da 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 da, here are all the ingredients. I'm talking about what's going to affect them, right? So I'm agitating that a little bit, but I'm using Story Swag to cascade that. So then they're like, oh, well, that was kind of different. Let me go click to the next one because you can kind of tell that something else should show up. So Story Swag gives you cascading, or animated, I should say, font. Michelle, you can cascade words without using an app, and you can actually access the video. I did a how-to and showed my screen in the Academy the last round, so you have access to that. Just hop over to the Academy group and you can go watch that. So Story Swag is one of my favorites. It is $5 a month, so it is paid. I don't remember if you can do some of the things free or not, but that to me is worthwhile to pay for. So $5 a month, there you go. Unfold is another really popular app. I don't believe that I pay for that one. And the nice thing about Unfold is that you can create layouts. So if you're going to think like collage type thing, you can have a picture and have some words at the bottom. You can have multiple pictures. So there are benefits to all of these different apps. Play with them. Hey, Brian, play with them, see what works for you. And again, if you guys have apps that you're using for stories, share them in the comments. I want to hear, because I want to check them out, but I want other people to have other resources as well and see what's going to fit for them. Not all businesses are the same. Not all, desires to be on stories are the same. So share what you're using. But Unfold is great because it has a library saved up. I haven't done much with Unfold, but you can go back in and save it back down to your phone if you happen to delete it, and then you can repurpose it. I'm going to share more about repurposing, so stick around. Unfold, honestly, it's not one I use as much. I use Story Swag and Story Art most. So Story Art has a lot of options for animation, and that to me is really fun. So the picture itself scales in or zooms in and zooms out or swipes over, swipes left and right. And there are a lot of different varieties. And this one, again, is paid. I know that there's a free version, so I played with the free version for a while. And then I thought, I'm going to use it for business. I can write off the expense. Talk to your CPA. I'm not a CPA. But I wrote it down. It's $3 a month or $10 for the year. That's less than $1 a month, guys. So there's that. But I'll show you just real quick. So you see right here. Oops, I'm not scrolling very well. Maybe it's not letting me. There we go. So all of these right here just show you some of the animation. So you can see how the pictures come and go. And if I'm doing it the right way, whoops. There's so many different options there. And you can save favorites. You can do highlight covers. There are a lot of different things, wrong way, that you can do. So this one to me, for less than $1 a month, I'm like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. The other thing I love about this is Story Art. By the way, Story Art. I have everything saved. So I can come back in and I can see what I have done in the past. I can grab it, save it back down to my phone if I need to, and I can repurpose it. Okay. Another great app would be In Stories. It does have some animation, not as much as Story Art, but again, you're going to find certain things that work well for you and for your business, and then you roll with it. If you guys, I'm going to say this again, if you guys have apps that you're loving, share them, because I want to check them out and I want everybody else to have the option to check them out as well. So here is my time-saving hack when it comes to reusing stories, because several of you guys, most of you responded that you prefer stories over timeline and newsfeed, which I love. I think that's That's direction. That is the direction that things are moving. I can speak correctly tonight. And what's great about it is that it is instant gratification. We live in this society where everybody wants it now, right? So you can sit there and you can click, tap, 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 swipe, tap, 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 tap. And it's really fast. What's cool about stories is you can see your viewers, so you can keep up with who is paying attention and all that stuff. And again, I talked about that in the training about stories. But some of the comments on Saturday when I asked you guys said stories are great, but it seems like it's just so much effort, and then it disappears after 24 hours, which is true. However, you can do two things there. One, you should be using highlights. You can go in and you can categorize your stories based on highlights. So if someone new is coming to your profile, be it Instagram, be it Facebook, they can go look and see, okay, here are the highlights that this person has shared. And you categorize based on the kinds of things that you put in your stories. And then once you put the story together, you can do it after the fact too. So you can always go back and add stuff that is in your archive. By the way, if you don't have archive set up, go set it up right now. Right now. Well, wait for the training to be done. After the training, go set up your archive. But Facebook and Instagram have an archive where it will save everything you do to stories. So there's one hack. You can go into your archive, scroll. Oh yeah, this is what I used. Saved a phone, saved a phone, saved a phone. Get your story deck of 3 or 5 or whatever it was and repost. That takes time though. So what I do is the training in the group. Donna, I'm not sure what you're asking, but this is a training right now. So if you're on this, then you're good. What I do is I save when I use my story art, my story swag, whatever. I save it down to my phone. Don't get me started on camera roll. I think it's annoying that it's all mixed up. But iPhones, and I believe there's a feature of this on Android phones as well, but iPhones now have a feature where not only can you sort things into albums, but you can create folders and then have albums within your folders, which is genius when it comes to organization. So you could create a folder on your phone, which is what I've done. And I call it Stories for Business. And I have a folder that's titled, Stories for Product. I have a folder that's titled Stories for Coaching. I have a folder that's titled Stories for, the Facebook group, whatever. Then within each folder, you can create albums. So this is where I want you to get specific. Yes, it takes time to set up. Anything worth saving time later usually takes time up front. It is a pain in the butt to put together. I'm sorry, let's call it what it is. But if you go through the process, then it makes it way faster in the end. So if you have, let's say, a network marketing business like I do, we have wellness products. So a sleep product, a CBD product, a skincare product, an antioxidant and collagen product, all these things. So in my stories for product folder, I have an album for the sleep product. I have an album for the skincare. I have an album for each of the products that I've created stories. So as I take the time to create them, once it's saved to my phone, it's a matter of an extra 2 seconds to say, click, 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 send to album or send to folder, send to album. And then you send it off and it just sits wherever you want it to be. So as you're planning out your week, then you say, hey, Connie, then you say, okay, I want to share at least one story about my business this week, or 2 stories or whatever. And I want to share one story about this product or one story about this service. And if you have things saved up, you can repurpose them. Now, I'm not saying go use the same story week after week after week, because that would be a little redundant for your audience. But if I put something in my stories today, chances are, 10, maybe 15% of my audience sees that. I can go back in and I can go use it again in a month. So if I go to Instagram, by the way, I do all of my stories on Instagram. I have a creator account. You can have 3 different accounts there. Personal, business, creator. Creator is relatively new within the last 6 months or so. Personal can share to your personal timeline, but has no insights. Business can share to your business page, has insights, but I don't recommend having business pages for most cases. Creator merges the 2. You have the insights and the analytics of the business, but it will share to your personal page like a personal Instagram. So I have a creator account. So I go into Instagram, get my story ready to go, share it to Facebook. It shares to Instagram and Facebook simultaneously. The polls still work. The question boxes still work. The only one that I've noticed does not seem to cooperate is the ABCD multiple choice. So if that's the case, I'll save it down and go in and repost it on Facebook. But if I've done that, I can add it to my highlights. And let's say, okay, I do want to share about sleep this week. I just go into my phone, open up Instagram. Instead of saying last 24 hours, I tap on that, and then I'll say, go to such and such album, go to my sleep album. And I grab the 3 things that I just told you about that are like the scrolling words. Do you feel like a train hit you in the morning when you wake up? Do you feel like you can't ever turn your brain off at the end of the night? Do you feel this? Do you feel that? And then I'll talk about the benefit of the product. And then at the end, I make it 3, 4, 5 slides, something like that. At the end, I'll say 2 positives. On your polls, please do not put yes and no, because then you'll get people saying no. You're like, whoops. But if you have a poll, 2 positive answers. At the very end of my slide deck, is this something, do you also struggle with sleep? Or is this something that might help you or whatever? And then my question will say, yes, oh my gosh, and then I need that now or something like that, right? So it's 2 positive response answers. But once I've done that, it's done. And I don't have to recreate it. So it takes time to set it up. But here's my suggestion for you. Go back to your brand pillars. Again, I'll use the network marketing example because that's what I have as my business. I could look and say, okay, I have these 10, 15, whatever different products. I'm going to sit down tonight or this weekend. I'm going to put on a good movie and I'm just going to sit through these apps and I'm going to download the graphics that I need, put it together and batch up a bank of content that can be used for stories regarding this product. And then I'm going to do it again for this product. And then I'm going to do it for this product. And then I'm going to do it for that product. And now it's all in my phone and it's saved and it's done. Done, 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 right? Now, you have something fun come up, Mother's Day promo, Memorial Day promo, whatever. Sure, make something. But once you've made it, it's not going to be reusable until maybe next year. But that's, okay, fine. But if you can have the bulk of your content, something that can be repurposed, how helpful would that be? That you're no longer having to go back and create and create and create and create. So grab some apps that will make it fun and interesting. Go watch the other video that tells you how and why to do stories and all that fun stuff. And then as you're creating them, save them to highlights. So someone who's new to you can come and see real quickly the kinds of stuff that you share. And save them to your phone into albums so that they're easy to repurpose for next time. And that will save you so much time. Cool. What app do I use to put my story together? I don't put it together beforehand necessarily. Connie, if you go back and watch from the beginning, I gave you 3 or 4 different apps that I use pretty regularly. But I use different ones for different things. And I will just make sure that I have everything thought out before I put it through on Instagram. Do repull from Instagram or keep it in that folder. So you can go back to Instagram. So I know some people that will say, hey, I go in, I look at my archive and I scroll, and then I find when I posted it and I hit save or I screenshot and save it down. To me, that's too much time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to scroll back through days and days and days of stories, or in this case, potentially weeks or months. So I save it into a folder. And then when it's time for me to use whatever that picture is, whatever that content is, when I go to Instagram and you go to upload a new picture, right? It'll have you, it automatically defaults, I believe, to show you. Camera roll, last 24 hours. Here we go. So I hit that, and then I have all of my albums here, and I can just go grab an album and pick whatever pictures I want. Boom, 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 and I'm done. Okay, so next week, I will bring you some more time-saving hacks. I want to say we're going to do Trello next week, just some fun little tips with Trello. And then the following week will be Facebook lists. So if you're not aware of those or how you can use those to help you, be sure to tune in and stay on the lookout. Probably on the 21st, I have my calendar over here that I just set up today. Probably the 21st, so Thursday of next week, I'm going to be doing a Trello workshop. And I'm going to put together a whole PowerPoint and everything so you guys can opt into that if you would like. Come learn a whole lot more about Trello, how to use it, tips and tricks and all kinds of things. And then you will have access to that for forever. But that's not going to be here in the main group. That will be through Zoom. So happy Monday. I hope that these tips help. And as always, if there's anything I can do to let help you out with your social media, let me know if there are any topics that you would like for me to cover. Be sure to share that in the group, or you can message me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I will talk to you later. See you later. Bye.